If you were to refer to our next guest as a rock star, you would be correct on two levels. One, because his band has had a best-selling album in the best-selling album in Norwegian history at one point, and two, because he can climb a rock like nobody's business. But neither of those things are the reason why Jo Nesbo is in our studios this morning. Today, he's here because he's also a best-selling author with a brand new book. It's called The Thirst, and spoiler alert, yeah, it may make you want to delete your Tinder profile if you have one. Jo Nesbo is in our studio this morning. It is an honor to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so researching on you, you are a man of many talents. I'm just going to list some of them. Okay, you were in the military for a few years, semi-pro footballer, stockbroker, musician, rock climber, the man behind one of my favorite shows, Occupied. The guy from the beer commercials has nothing on you. You are the most interesting man in the world. How'd you get into writing?
Well, I grew up in a home where there were books everywhere, so I had the feel when I first started writing. I can remember just writing that first page of my first novel. It felt like coming home. It felt like, you know.
This is what you were meant to do.
Yeah, sort of. It was the one thing that I knew that I know how to tell a story. I know how to tell a story, and I knew that if nobody liked it, they'd be wrong. So yeah. I'm from a family of storytellers. So.
And I hear that you have the perfect writing room. You know, big, beautiful desk that's made for you with a gorgeous view of downtown Oslo. But you prefer writing elsewhere.
It's the only place where it's impossible for me to work. So I have this local coffee shop where I bring my laptop and I go down there, and it's very busy. So my favorite table is always taken, but it has two chairs. So normally I will just go sit there and stare at the person occupying my table until he or she leaves. That's my strategy, yeah.
All right, let's talk about The Thirst. Harry Hole, interesting protagonist, because you've described him as the sort of friend that when you spend the weekend with him, you hope he's not going to call on Monday.
Yeah.
Brilliant detective, but also alcoholic, slightly unorthodox approach to solving crimes. What makes him an interesting character to develop and write stories around?
I think because he's a character of contradictions. He's both, on one hand, he's a romantic, he's a cynic. He is a protector of society. On the other hand, he's an outsider. He's probably, he feels more related to the criminals he are chasing than his colleagues at the police house. So he's the kind of guy that when you give him, as a writer, you give him a moral dilemma. You're never quite sure what he's going to do.
You know, in all those jobs that I listed for you, police officer wasn't one of them. How do you get into the mind of a police officer to write these books?
I mainly interview police officers, so I have quite a few friends now at the police house in Oslo, and they help me out. But then again, I mean, it's about humans. It's not about police officers, and I don't try to write documentary novels. This is fiction. So.
Jo, to write a character like Harry, is the goal to create a character that will constantly challenge you as a writer, and so tomorrow you might wake up with a whole new Harry Hole idea for a new book? Is the goal when you come up with these characters to have them live on forever in book after book?
Well, it's 4 years since the last Harry Hole novel, and in between I've been writing standalone. So it's more like the idea is the boss. So if I wake up with an idea and it's not a Harry Hole story, then it will be a standalone or even a children's book. But sooner or later I will return to Harry Hole.
Well, this is the part of the interview where you might want to take a minute to pick up all the names that I'm going to drop. Jake Gyllenhaal, starring in a movie version of one of your books. Tobey Maguire is going to direct another. Martin Scorsese is involved. Michael Fassbender, starring in another one. As a writer, how does the impact of Hollywood, how does it play on you as a writer?
I try to stay as much as I can away from that and stay detached from the movie world, because it's such a strong medium compared to the novels. And for me, it's important to keep my characters intact the way I imagine them, and I think also for my readers to have the sort of I like the idea that every reader has a Harry Hole on their own. Now, of course, if it's going to be a movie, as it looks like it's going to be, that will change. And I'm sort of looking forward to it, but on the other hand, it's I'm a bit worried too.
Jo, I think the world needs more of you. I don't care if it's a standalone book. I don't care if it's a series of books. I don't care if it's TV shows or movies. Whatever you're throwing down, I'm picking up. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
The book is called The Thirst, and we've been speaking with author Jo Nesbo. We're back in 2 minutes.